Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from Destro Reborn. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get that chow.
So I just got off the phone with my ex-husband. And I say ex-husband lightly because we are still legally married. We've been separated ever since my daughter was 5-6 months old. And in between that time, we tried to get back together. But of course, there was still some lying going on, I guess. I've been highly delusional. I didn't want to ask him if we could stay with him and his girlfriend and his 1-year-old daughter. But my mother told me to ask him. Because come Saturday,
Can you stay with your mother?
we will have nowhere to go. And I mean nowhere. No shelters are available. There's nowhere to go.
I don't need no man.
It's like I feel bad, but then I think about it again, then I'm just like, ha! But I do feel bad about the kids. I think that's always the internal struggle that I have when I don't feel about the bad for these women, but I do feel bad for the kids that are in these positions with these women.
I know you're probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Where are all the simps, right? We're talking about a single mother of 2 on the verge of homelessness. And she's a retired 304. 10 years ago, this would be like simp escargot, caviar. Listen, I'm telling you, this sudden simp absence, dare I say it, exodus, is a bigger scandal than these Epstein files. Yeah, I think we might have to ask the Cobra R&D department to look further into this matter. But for now, let us focus on the task at hand. Now, how do I title this? Brave, unapologetic husband escapes chaos and finds himself a new woman. Yes, he pressed the reset button and started a new family. Look, I'm sorry, but I've
That would be a good title, but I'm sure nobody would want to click on that one.
seen the Judge Gavel of family court be weaponized too many times. Too many times for me to feel sorry for a woman like this. Don't be fooled by her soft
This is
voice
true.
and watery eyes. The fact of the matter is, this woman didn't respect his authority. And because of this, he left her to the elements. Yes, he left her for a woman that followed his leadership, even when his money was low, as you'll see.
Flashback.
My name is MJ. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I'm currently in Florida. My mother is the only one who has ever been here for me in my entire life. Even though she's a narcissist and she's mentally and emotionally abusive.
Now, I want you to notice that everyone she mentioned victimized her in some way. Every person in her inner circle has some sort of evil intention, even though all of the people she speaks of at some point was supporting her. Just keep this in mind when you're supporting a modern woman, that all these donations mean nothing when she initiates Order 66 on you. Yes, some of you will understand that reference.
My mother has about 3 or 4 aunties, 4 uncles, and somehow they have all ostracized her. And because I am her daughter, I was ostracized as well. I had my firstborn at 17, 18 years old.
And the single motherhood just perpetuates itself constantly. Like you and it's just a sad cycle that we see a lot of these single mothers producing single mothers, and then these single mothers don't even know anything, and then they're producing single mothers.
And I did not want children. I knew that I had manic depression, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to take care of him.
See, at that point, I'm not trying to justify it or telling people to go do it. But again, women fight for this right to end these particular things. And you said you didn't want it, and you're not in the right space for it and stuff like that. Why did you not exercise that right? Because women fought so hard for it. Like,
But no one heard me. No one listened to me. I told my son's father I did not want to have a child.
Okay.
And I made the mistake of trusting him.
So her mother is abusive, her
His
family
fault.
members hate her, and her first baby father forced her to have a kid she didn't want. No one listened to her and everyone ignored her. Obviously, the world is against her. Now I know what your sane, logical mind is thinking. Well, if she was so against having kids, why didn't she use one of the 15 to 20 forms of birth control available?
Correct.
Especially if she knew she was unfit to be a mother. I mean, we got pills, rings, patches, IUDs, condoms, and even hot sauce. Well, because that would take discipline. And it's far easier to blame everyone
I think hot sauce is the men's contraceptive. I don't think women are using that, Destro. I think you got that one a little bit twisted.
else in the room but yourself.
So since our separation, he has been in and out of my daughter's and my son's life. My son was 1 year old when he met him. That was supposed to be his father too. I had to go into prostitution because nothing else would pay the bills.
No, there's things that would pay the bills, just you weren't willing to do the work.
And I vowed to never do that again. I vowed to not be ashamed of having to do that. I was also a dancer.
Why would you do that? Like, I'm ashamed for some of the things I've done. That's what it's for. So you can regret and ponder upon it and then correct yourself forward. There's nothing wrong with being ashamed of something or ashamed of yourself for some of the actions you've done.
And I think because trauma happened to me so young, at such a young age, I felt like the only good thing I could do was entertainment work.
Are we not tired of these Google therapists? Always self-diagnosing themselves with some form of post-traumatic syndrome. Let's just be honest and say you turned to exotic dancing and street walking because sex sells. And it was fast money, no different than a drug dealer. Now you could have ran some Uber or worked
She's a bit of a torta.
at Amazon, but let's be honest, that money wasn't enough for you. And look, that's okay, but please don't insult our intelligence.
Seriously.
And the shelters were always full, and I looked at my kids and I just couldn't have them back on the streets. And now we might not have any choice.
Poor kids, like living out on the streets, dealing with a mother that is professional. These poor kids are not gonna be productive members of society for sure. Or at least very unlikely.
We'll be out on the street. So he told me that, it's cool if you guys come, but it's a 1-bedroom apartment, and there's no room. And he didn't say it like he side talks a lot. And I could tell like he really didn't have the courage to tell me, but he can only take in my daughter.
As he should. Listen, we're gonna hear a lot more of these stories as the cold fog of winter approaches.
Yep.
Let's get something straight. There's nothing traditional about marriage anymore. It's
really
no
isn't.
longer about accepting a woman into your family, providing and protecting her. This system has been bastardized by the feminist Kosher Nostra and the Bitter Sisterhood, and is now just a legal arrangement that can be broken at any time. And it's clear that this man chose peace. As a matter of fact, here's exactly why he chose.
The lady, I don't even know her name. He won't even tell me her name. But he promises me that she's a good woman because she's paid all his bills when he wasn't able to, and she takes good care of their daughter.
So we see this woman helped him when he was down. Something the Bitter Sisterhood preaches against every day.
Every
AKA
day.
building a law.
I'm not going with a builder, man. He better be fully built.
I don't trust a woman who knowingly sleeps with a man that's married and tries to make a house with him. I don't trust a woman like that.
You don't trust a woman like that because you want to be that woman.
But I might have to. Because I don't want my daughter on the streets with me. It's okay if I'm on the streets, but I don't want her right there with me.
Let us not forget that they were separated. But think about it. She doesn't trust a woman that would sleep with a married man who was separated. But she was a woman that slept with random men for money.
Correct.
See, I broke my calculator trying to input girl math.
Through death or sickness. And maybe I'm being over dramatic. But I gave him everything. And I wasn't perfect. There's some things that I did wrong.
At least you admit it.
But he didn't try it at all.
At all, huh?
Listen, this is the era of the berserker. Nobody got time for these games anymore. And it's clear that men are choosing peace. We always hear that Bible quote about living on a roof rather than with a quarrelsome wife.
Yep.
And it's clear that this man got the message. But wait a minute. You didn't smash the bell and press the like button. Blasphemy.
Shout out to Lord Destro in that breakdown. Yeah, horrible single mothers just perpetuate each other. And then other women just co-sign. You slay queen, you can do it all by yourself, you can all these things, but look at what's the worst outcome is all these children that are out on the streets seeing all these undegenerate things, barely surviving, going back and forth from parents. We need to stop it. Stop it. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that.